Welcome to Tower Gardening Made Easy, and I'm Sherry. Today we're going to be doing an update or a part two to Clone It Like Heaven. Now, if you've watched that video, you saw the cloning or the propagation of the tomato plants that I did off of the tomato tower, the existing tomato tower I have in my grow room. But what has happened now is this guy right behind me has done some amazing things in 2 weeks. So I want to share that with you right now. Welcome back. So I want to show you something very magical that has happened over the past 2 weeks. So this video, Clone It Like Heaven, if you've watched it, and I'm going to actually paste a little bit of it at the end of this video so that it'll just make it very easy for you to see how I did it. And then I actually took those clones or those propagations and put them in this tower. Now the video was done on April 13th, and it is now basically almost the end of April. So we're talking about 2 weeks worth of growth. But the crazy thing is, I actually have tomato flowers. So by cloning or propagating off of my existing tower, not from seed, I exponentially expedited flowers, which means it's going to start to fruit. So I'm going to go ahead, pause this, and turn the camera around to show you. And so at the end, like I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and paste Clone It Like Heaven so that you can actually see from start to finish of 2 weeks what happened. I mean, it's completely magical. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so what we're looking at is this is the new tower. This is tower number 9 that I planted out with these propagations or clones. And the tower looks amazing. I really do need to put the trellis on it now before it gets any bigger. I really didn't think that I was going to have this kind of growth this fast. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to take this off, the camera off the stand, and I'm going to get really close so you can actually see what's going on. I never thought that this would happen this quickly, because when I started the tomatoes from seed, it was weeks. I mean, it really was challenging to get them to go in the nursery and then to put them in the tower to get them even to this stage. I mean, 2 weeks and I already have flowers. So I want to show you that right now. Okay, so I'm just, holding the camera, and I just want to point this out to you. Look at this. Again, this is 2 weeks and I have flowers. Now, when I propagated these, clone them, whatever you want to call it, again, look at these flowers. I made sure that the only thing that was existing was a nice straight stem and a healthy leaf. And there were a couple that had teeny tiny, buds that maybe would have turned into flowers. And I cut them off because all I wanted this clone to do was focus on growing roots. That's its only job. I didn't want it to be producing anything other than just making the bottom of the plant as healthy as possible so that it could be nice and strong. I mean, look at this guy. This is like 4 times the size. And I'm going to show you. You got to stay to the end of this video. I'm going to prove to you with the Clone It Like Heaven video. This is, I mean, the one that I put in right out of the nursery, after I demonstrated, I believe it is this one right here. Look at this. It's just amazing. And they all have, like right there's buds. On most, I would say 90% of these, I have tiny flowers. Again, right there. And they're about to pop. So I'm a little nervous that I don't have my trellis ready, because once they start to produce fruit, they're going to get a little heavy and I got nothing to rest them on. So I need to get cracking and probably go to Michael's and start to, make one. So I just don't think I'm going to have time to order one from Tower Garden. But as you can see, look at, I mean, this is crazy. In 2 weeks, guys, and I promise you, there were no flowers. You're going to see when we planted these out. I mean, each day I've been really busy and a little backed up in terms of trying to make some footage for you guys. And I'm going to catch up this weekend by doing a big tour of the grow room. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But, again, so healthy. Um, Even new suckers. That's a new sucker. I could actually take that off and clone it, but I don't have any room right now. So, I mean, look how nice and tall that is. And the leaves are amazing. There's only one, and I'm going to show you that on the very bottom. I saw that the other day and I was like, ooh, what's that? So let me show you that. Let me try to find it. There it is. So down here, all of the leaves on this tower are very healthy, and this particular variety, their leaves curl. So that's just part of the plant. That's not a pH or nutrition thing. That is simply part of what the plant looks like. Now, this is the only one that I have, and I'm going to try to get up close. That I noticed the other day that there was just a little bit of yellowing. So right there and right there. And I got a little nervous, but then I said to myself, okay, it is on the bottom. And sometime, as you can see, there's the light right there. So I think where the lights were, it just wasn't getting enough. But then what I noticed is that these are the bottom. So that's what I planted. But all of this right here, that's new growth. That's all new growth. And there's flowers. So I honestly am not going to be too worried about this. I think that that was just a transition or maybe a little bit of a lighting issue. So when I put the lights back after I finish here, I will make sure that this gets a little more. But I know that it's doing okay because it grew all of this new growth and it's giving me a flower. So I'm so thrilled that I did this and that I I did that video to prove. I mean, look at that flower. It's going to open. I mean, in what? Maybe a day, maybe two, and that means if I pollinate it correctly, there will be a teeny tiny tomato that's going to grow from there, and it's a cluster. It's not just one. So again, I mean, look at that's suckers, and then more suckers right there and more flowers. So, again, this was a tower that, I put into place and as tower number 9. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to get when I did this, but I'm so glad I did it. So stay tuned to the end of the video so you can actually see these segments that I'm going to drop in here as to when we planted this and what it looks like today. So now I'm going to show you this tray right here. Okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit. These are cuttings that I did. Sorry about that. About a week for some and 2 for another. And it was more of just a test to see whether or not this was going to work. And it did. And I'm proud to say that it was very successful. And so I'm going to be planting everything you see in this tray on camera with you in Tower 9. So if you haven't, I'm going to show you this first, the workaround, and then we're going to go ahead and put these in there. I'm going to show you some of the roots too. Pretty impressive. So let me just get this out of the way because this is the important part. Now, I don't know what you use for rockwool. Let me see if I can get. I'm going to show you 2 different kinds. The kind that I like and the kind that I'm not too fond of. So this particular rockwool has a teeny tiny hole in the center. It's just something that I bought on Amazon. I don't like it because when you break it apart, it doesn't come apart equally. Now, I particularly like the one from Tower Garden. This rock wall, it has a bigger seed pot. So I'm going to show you this in a minute. This just pay attention to. It's very, very important. But it's just softer and it breaks apart evenly with no extra. Okay. So I'm going to put this aside because I already have some soaking. But it's important that you know which rock wall that you have. All right. Now, so you can see on this one, it has a teeny tiny little like seed port. So this actually is pretty good. But then when you go to press the stem in, as I'm going to in a moment, it's really difficult and sometimes it can snap the stem. So be very careful of the rock wall that you use. Again, I prefer the one from Tower Garden. I'm not promoting it, but it just seems to work a little bit better. So I've got a wet one right here. Okay. Now you're going to say, how are you going to do this? So in Kevin's video, he has like almost like a little net pot that goes into this hydroponic system. Again, we don't have to do that because this is going to be our like our seed, like starter, if you will. So, but there's a little trick to this. I had to kind of figure this one out to get this right. So, if you guys garden with me, you all know that I have what? A recycle bin, right? And here's my recycle piece. Now, what I want you to do, again, this has a very large seed pot, and it's not going to work if the stem isn't completely pressed into this. So go ahead and take a little bit of piece, and I want you to fill the hole. Okay, so just go ahead, water everywhere, and fill it. And then go ahead and put this aside. Now, the next step, again, is equally as important. You have this, stem with the suckers. Now, this has a lot of potential, but really what I'm looking for when you look at this is I'm looking for a straight, to the best of your ability, stem that can go ahead and clone or propagate. So I'm going to get rid of, because we don't want it to produce any fruit right now. We just want it to focus on growing some roots. So I'm going to get rid of anything that's um, too leggy. So you can see where I'm cutting. So now it's getting straighter. So there's a little guy right here, right there. You could actually trim him down, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to focus on this main stem here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut down on the bottom, and then I'm going to cut this little guy off. So now I have this perfect upright vertical stem. Now there are some flowers that were potential tomatoes, but again, right now I got to focus on getting these guys into the tower and getting them started because it's going to take a little time. I'm just going to snip this off and try to make it as straight as possible. So by the time that these reach potential of fruiting, I will be able to take my other tomato tower and flip it into something else. So do you see what I'm doing? At least in my grow room, I constantly want to rotate the crops. So I'm going to go ahead now. I cut the bottom of this on the tower just a few minutes ago. Now, I want to explain something very important about stems. This is a sturdy stem, and tomatoes, again, are relatively easy to clone. But you want to get maximum water into the stem so that it will grow roots. And the roots will go from anywhere from the bottom, but they can also sprout from this teeny tiny area here. Anything that's submerged in water has potential to grow roots, and they will go horizontally, and they'll also go vertically. So you want it to end up like this. I'm going to get a tool. And, at the end of the day, when you put them in the tower, for the most part, these guys, see how they have the roots all the way around? Not so much on the bottom, but they're going to grow this way, and then they'll start to go down. But once you put them into your hydroponic, aeroponic system, or towers, they're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. So let's go ahead. Now, this is really important. Here is the plugged hole. I want you to turn it upside down, the stuff that would actually go into your grow pot. So go ahead and just place that onto the map for 1 second. Now, stem. Off the tower, I cut it straight. Now on here, what I want to do is I'm going to try to get as close as I possibly can. I'm going to do a diagonal cut. And the reason is it's going to allow a little more water. See what I did? Okay, and it's also going to give you, and I want to get this in right away. So again, put your finger on the hole, and I want you to go to the side of it so that you're not pushing out that extra rock wall. See, it's a little bit difficult to get in there. So this rock wall works so well. So now it's completely encased in the rock wall. The plug on the bottom is nice and taut inside, and it's not wobbling. I'm going to go ahead and put it into my tray for a quick second and then just finish my thought here. Okay, so it's in the grow bin right there. I wonder if this will go up just a little bit more. No. Okay. It's in the grow bin. With these guys, what I did, again, they were in here for a little over a week or so under the grow lights, and they were not domed. I just left them as is, and they've done perfect. I've had no issues. Within the first 48 hours, you shouldn't have any leaves that are wilting. Again, it's just the basic rock wall. It's just tap water. There are no minerals. It's just regular old water that I filled up from the room across the hall. And I just, did that, and they're just fine. So you want to leave them in here for about a week. And these guys are ready to go. And as an experiment, I think I'm going to throw the new guy in there just to see what he does, because I really do think that he will be just fine. Um, they're, I was really, really impressed with the amount of root system. I was like, is this actually going to work? Because in the Kevin's video, I was like, well, it's in the rock wall, but we know that we use the rock wall for planting of everything, so why wouldn't it work? And what I love is the stem is it's grown from the top, and that stem is inside here, like this deep. I mean, it's not to the bottom, but it's pretty close, and it's still nice and plugged. But I just love the fact that all the roots are there. They look really, really healthy. Now, the second batch that I did. Um, so that I could do this video with you guys. I don't see anything coming, but all the leaves are very, very taut. There's no wiggle in that top stem. And there's actually some flowering on that one. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that because I just wanted to focus on growing roots. And these guys, once they get in there and they get big enough, they will start fruiting. Like I said before, get to that fruiting stage, and I'll be able to flip that other tower and we'll put something really fun on there. So let's go over to tower 9 and go ahead and throw these guys in there. My other towers, I'm going to add, I think, another section to it. So you can see it's, I'm 5'4", so it's a little bit shorter than me, but I'm going to order another 2 and then take the lights off and put them on when they get here, and probably put some more tomatoes, because the other tomato tower that I have is a flex, not a home. And I really, really like the amount of tomatoes that it's giving me, because I'm harvesting off of it every single day. So let me go ahead and get that tray. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take our newbie, and I may have to put these down and do this one-handed. So this is the one that I just did. Now, again, I would suggest putting these on your warming mat under your spider lights for a week, just to be safe. But I feel pretty confident that everything in my tray is good to go. And I really do think this guy is going to be fine. So I'm going to actually put him right here. And what I can do is update you guys in the post to see how it's doing. And you might be able to stick them right into the rock wall and put them right into your own, tower. This is our aeroponic, hydroponic system. So you don't have to buy another, type of system and plug it in. I love the fact that, Kevin's promoting it, but you don't necessarily need it. Okay, I'm gonna have to put these on the windowsill. So we'll have to do it from back here. And I just want to adjust this one because it's kind of forward. And you know me, I like to have things starting close to the tower because they inevitably will grow out. So I want to give them that opportunity to come forward. So let's go ahead and put these guys in there. I'm psyched. So another great point with this is that I know that this tomato plant that's on the tower right now is the indoor dwarfed tomato. And you can go to my website, towergardenmadeeasy.com. And it's right under my favorite seeds, right up in the right hand corner. It says bestseller. And those tomatoes are unbelievable. They're really, really good. So I'm going to stick this guy down here. And this is going to be tower number 2 of tomatoes. And I'm going to get him. I'm going to go sideways with him. So hope you guys are having a great day. I certainly am. I was so excited to come out and do this video today. So again, this has some really nice roots, and they came up really fast. Again, these are the older ones, but I really do like the Tower Garden rock wall. It is rock solid. It really is. They've done a nice job. However they make it, they've done a very nice job. And the term I think that Kevin used was totopotency, which is where the stem, here we go, look at that root system. It's going to root from the area that touches that rock wall all the way down. So it's really nice. And I'm so psyched to get more of those cherry tomatoes. Really psyched. Because they are yummy. And it was so easy to pull these off of the tower. And I really didn't hurt the existing plant because there's so much on that tower. And you just have to make sure that stem is nice and sturdy, and trim everything down, even though you don't want to, it's really for the best of the plant. Oh, that looks really good. It's really, really good. The other thing too with the smaller seed pot, I actually went right into the hole because it was so small. So you don't really have to worry about um, flipping it over. But if you have that bigger seed well, that's when you want to plug it and flip it. But these guys, this one is just, it just seems a little more, I don't know, I guess woolly would be the word. I've actually gotten splinters from it. So these all look really, really good. Maybe you only have one tower, and you've got maybe two plants on that tower, and you really like your tomatoes, and you still have seeds. This is going to expedite that. You are just forgetting that the beginning zone of having to start from a seed, which right there you're looking at least 3 to 4 weeks between germination and getting them to a point where they are sturdy like this. I mean, there's lots of things that can go wrong. So why not take from what you already have to the best of your ability and start them like this? Because I've saved myself probably, I would say, 6 weeks of growth. And I'm be very, very curious to see how long it takes from this propagation and cloning to actually getting tomatoes. So we're going to keep an eye on that to do a video and update. So these are all just really nice. And again, thank you so much to Epic Gardening and to Kevin for letting me use a little bit of that, because your explanation was spot on. So I just want to make sure that Kevin and Epic Gardens get the credit. And go watch his video. If you go into his video, it's under cloning, and you can watch the whole thing there. So these are all doing great. Putting them in the new tower. And if you haven't watched that video, I rescued this from someone's storage space who had it in there, wasn't using it, in the same place I have a storage bin in Newport. So it's so funny. It's such a small world. So crazy. Okay, what do we got here? I got 2 more. I may have to do a few more. What do we got here? There. And then one more. Oops. Squished it. And then that's on the back side. So we'll put that one sideways. Maybe not. That little leaf just got killed. So let me just swivel that around so it doesn't get killed. All right. What do we got? This looks pretty full to me. I've got 1, so I've got 2 that I need to do. But that really is the how easy that is. Just put that back over there. To start out, even just a couple. Think about it. You already have the supplies in your grow room. If you only have one tower, you've got a tower, you've got the rock wall, and hopefully you have a tomato plant. And also too, if you don't have one, you could always, at this point, because I know up here in the Northeast, the garden stores are starting to open. Maybe you don't have one started, but maybe you can find one that's in a local nursery at this point. And all you got to do is, clip it and then go. You could take that one plant and take snippets from it, and then just go ahead and clone it and stick it right in your tower. Just make sure the variety is dwarfed. Stay tuned, because I've got some really great stuff coming up in terms of what's happening in this room, so I can get caught up with everybody in the community as to what's going on here. And I also have another surprise about nutrients, but I don't want to reveal that just yet. And then, of course, you got to tune in on Wednesdays. Everybody's got to tune in on Wednesdays, because that's the podcast at 11 o'clock. And if you can't catch it live, then you can always catch it on the repeat. But there's lots of really great information there. And we'll see you very soon. Thanks for tuning in today.